Now, we got a relatively new segment. The second time we're going to do it, I'm going to find a negative article about one of Trump's nominees, and you're going to defend it because you defend blindly.
That's right. I do.
Robert F. Kennedy's anti-vaccine stance. Do you know it cost 83 people in Samoa? All right, they can't actually directly link anything Robert F. Kennedy did to the deaths in Samoa. However, there were 83 deaths in Samoa, and I don't remember, there was an outbreak, and he did show up. He did show up, and he did talk anti-vax, and then later, a lot of Samoans didn't take the vaccine, and 83 died. All of that is true. Okay. That doesn't mean that anything he did caused their deaths. However, I'm concerned about his anti-vax stance. Is it an anti-vax stance, and should I be concerned?
I don't think you should be concerned. I think we don't know the science yet, because I think we've had a corporate and pharmaceutical-driven science, and we need to know the relationship between vaccines.
How many cases of polio do we have last year?
Michael, the relationship of vaccines, autism, diabetes, and obesity. I really do have to know, because if we're saying they're trade-offs, and we're saying by having no vaccines, we're going back to a state where we were 50 years ago, we're going to have far less diabetes, obesity, and autism. I think that many people will go for that trade-off medically. I think we need to study that relationship, and I think he's onto something there. Frankly, that's the thing. If we have more deaths,
you think it's vaccines
we have a healthier population, that's a different story. Do we want a sick population, or do we want a healthy population? I think that's the trade-off.
Look at how many people died in the U.S. of polio last year?
I don't know, Mike. How many died?
Very few. There used to be a lot more, and then we had a vaccine. It must just be the biggest coincidence. So at least this has been.
Mike, I don't know. That's the point. This is like the Fisher smoking hypothesis. Is it just a correlation, or is it causation?
Yeah, no. There were a lot of deaths
that you get.
There was a vaccine, and the deaths went away, but it's a complete coincidence. We have an obesity crisis because everyone eats fast food. It has nothing to do with vaccines. The link between
autism and Mike, how do you know? Without
you think something you put in your body once has more of an effect than the McDonald's you eat twice a week? Come on.
Yeah, sure. How do you know? How do you know it doesn't trigger a fast food gene craving? How do you know, Mike? I'm being serious here.
Because we've had fast food since the 50s, and
how do you know the cocktail of vaccines aren't creating a chemical cascade to make people who are more susceptible to diabetes,
look,
to obesity, and to autism and the reproduction? How do you know? How do you know it's not shutting off certain genes and turning others on?
If he wants to study vaccines, that's not a problem. If he wants to create a whole new way of vaccines to be approved, I don't think that's a problem. But if he's going to go in and disapprove of vaccines that have been approved, that's going to be dangerous, in my opinion.
I don't think he's talking about that, Mike. I don't think he's talking about taking away the polio vaccine.
I don't think he's talking about taking away the polio vaccine, but he is talking a lot about, look at all the vaccines that are scheduled. I can tell you my son's doctor is very beholden to the vaccine, talks about it all the time. So I know, look, and I understand that if there's a link between how much money they make or who knows what, that you don't necessarily have to trust the doctors. But my doctor, he believes strongly that you need to follow the vaccine schedule. And I mostly have. I'm not going to give my son the COVID or the flu vaccine. Those are worthless. But the general ones, the ones that have been around for decades, of course. All right.